27 Inc. Hey, 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 hey. We gon' get to it, get that going, no cap, no cap, yo, and you make them jump, no crisscross, you ain't on my level, jump off, we gon' get to it, get that going, no cap, you know, and you take them jump, no crisscross, you ain't on my level. Yeah, yeah. Hey, wake up in China, or Dubai, You are not like me, Nice try. I'm a nice guy. Why you wanna chop me up? Pillow talking with them bitches. I'ma call your bluff. Yay, act up. Soft kind of soft, yay, say that, but I'm doing all the robbing. Catch your bitch slobbing. Heart throbbing. He said go deep. I told him no problem. Baby, get that bag. It's no I move different. People, I live it. Fucks, I'ma give it. You wanna fuck? I'ma go serious. I just don't do it. Get that coin, no cap, yeah. You you should make them jump, No crisscross, you ain't on my level. Young boss, we gon' get to it. Get that coin, no cap, You you should make them jump, No crisscross, you ain't on my level. Young boss, don't call me mommy. Call me Cougar. Cause the Ruger, I'm a shooter. Say my Buddha. Say what you like. I keep it tight. I need a G man to hit it right, keep it wet, make me sweat, no disrespect. Come to wreck, ain't on my level. Oh, boss ain't cross, got to get trying to flex, speaking on the next. Niggas on your necks, we playing chess. What you thought? Trying to call the boss. Get that coin, no cap. No cap, yeah. No use, make them jump, No crisscross, you ain't on my level. Young block, you gon' get to it, get that coin, no cap. You know it, make them jump, No crisscross, you ain't on my level. Young block.
Like, people are stacked. Move workers, they know I got bands. They be chatting, I don't give a but I'm still getting money, I know who I am. Tryna be low, he gon' hit on my gram. If he smart, he gon' act like a fan. You bigger, they got your head gas. So I give him my pass. Like, people are stacked. Move workers, they know I got bands. They be chatting, I don't give a but I'm still getting money, I know who I am. Be low, he gon' hit on my gram. If he smart, he gon' act like a fan. You bigger, they got your head gas. So I give him a pass. And I just fell in love with a gangster. So he put my name in the tab. I don't let him come to the crib, so we get it on where we at. Nowadays, I be ducking them cameras, and they hype that I'm up on them banners. Calling my phone, but they know I don't answer. In the hood, I'm like Princess Diana. I'm thick cause I peed in oat. Not take shit from me, but notes. Wanna be me, so she do my emotes to my name and I'm out, so I bet she gon' show. Tell her, man, I'm the girl of his dreams. Think about me when he brushing his teeth. He keep texting, I leave him on scene. Hottest down, they know what I'm doing. I'm like, you put a stack. Move on, cause they know I got bands. They be chatting, I don't give a, but I'm still getting money, I know who I am. I be low, he gon' hit on my gram. If he's smart, he gon' act like a fan. You bigger, they got your head gas. So I give him a pass. Like, you put a stack. Move on, cause they know I got bands. They be chatting, I don't give a, but I'm still getting money, I know who I am. Tryna be low, he gon' hit on my gram. If he's smart, he gon' act like a fan. Think you bigger, they got your head gas. So I give him a pass. Looking at me like who bigger than she. I'm the one who they wishing to be. Take my time, cause I don't wanna bathe. You making a plate that I already ate. Go fly and go chill in saloon. Then I have when I walk in the room. He want me as the lamest shit making it, but I spend on the chain. Making it rain. Doing my thing. And I'm young. Still got that money in my pockets and shit. Nothing was the same. Taking your boo. Getting a move. Like flexing on them the addicted. Seeing it from me how they usually do. Like keep it a stack. Move on cause they know I got bands. They be trying not to give a but I'm still getting money, I know who I am. Tryna be low, he gon' hit on my gram. If he's smart, he gon' act like a fan. You bigger, they got your head gas. So I give him a pass. Yeah. Taking all the sunshine away. Get out like a line. It's your future. Something gonna go with me. Just easy. Running along with the thinking. Remember me. I know you that I don't think you're the only way I'm gonna but you said I love you. Come on, girl, I ain't make it. I don't want stress about it. Play them games, you play us. I won't lose no sleep about it. How you explain it to the but you giving child. I can tell you, but everybody having mileage. I'm gonna be fine. I'm crying. Lying, stressing about that ain't mine. This ain't real. They think that I'm lying. I ain't doing that back and forth. I look like a back and forth. I ain't got time for all that arguing when I'm trying to get rich. Same me. Well, that's the standard. Keep on playing by my thing, and I won't have no manners. I ain't doing that back and forth. I look like a back and forth. I ain't got time for all that arguing when I'm trying to get rich. Same me. Well, that's the standard. Keep on playing by my thing, and I won't have no manners. It's one I can allow, but it's don't take accountability. Should have knew that because he was a Pisces. It be lies. It's like that guy that he kept everybody's lies. How's y'all business? She's gonna do me. I ain't claiming that he going. Stop telling y'all that it ain't true. Glad I kept my cool. Understand it, but I ain't. I mean, you just gonna lose. I ain't doing that back and forth. I look like a back and forth. I ain't got time for all that arguing when I'm trying to get rich. Same me. Well, that's the standard. Keep on playing by my thing, and I won't have no manners. I ain't doing that back and forth. I look like a back and forth. I ain't got time for all that arguing when I'm trying to get rich. Same me. Well, that's the standard. Keep on playing by my thing, and I won't have no manners.
When I think about your loving, the sunny evenings, the fun we used to share, looking through the memories in my mind. Since I've laughed and cried and thought it over, now I realize that it's never over, only set aside. Oh, you sweet baby, when the sky goes black, Lying here alone, I'm dreaming, my mind is wandering, my thoughts are only you, wandering through the memories in my mind. How could love so real have turned so empty? I just keep wondering why. Will I ever find love we shared together? You and I.
He's telling me 1996 friends like a target. He brown feeling song. I don't feel radio on that grid. Chicken fried ball like a Princess celery. Walk inside of the exhibit for the gallery. So what they got on my cavity. With your old lady, y'all enough calories. On with so was so on Zaki. The 14 in the winners want it back. I rock me when they silver cause my diamond. Women like me and I but not mine. I'm a real couple killer. I mean, much I can't shut up. I mean, keep it mellow. It feels so me like a fuck umbrella, fuck umbrella, fuck umbrella, fuck umbrella. But I'm here. I'm sorry. That's so good. It's 7 days. It's just a Wednesday. Summer ride. Seen it before. I got no dope. And then you touch that flow.
Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these and they gotta put my money in my head, in my head. Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. And they gotta put my money in my head. I see the sicker when you see the real liquor, the paint chipper. Ice in my range flicker, I straight flipper, the cheese like the pan kicker, the cheese like the lead in my hand trigger, a cutter, a check into that pizza, some dirty sucker, inch spray gold ticker, some of it making sense, cause some of it making dollars. I keep a bad bro, though, and shit talking. I don't know I was trying to it was all. She might as well go on. Let me whisper something in her ear if I could. Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. Put my money in my hand. Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. Yeah, better put my money in my hand. Now what since you're pretty, soon as you came in the door, I just want to chill by the sack for us to roll. Married to the money, introduced her to my stove. Showed her how to whip and now she remixing for low. She my track queen, let her hit the bando. We be counting up, watch how far the bands go. We just had to go, talking matching Lambos. I 56 a gram, 500 grams show. Man, I swear I love her, how she work the band. Hit the strip club, we be letting things go. Everybody hate who we just call them fans. In love with the money, I ain't never go. And like a ride with my baby. I just love the more, I'm getting fly with my baby. And like a ride with my baby. I'll be in your chick with the prize for my baby.
Yeah. I see Anna on screen. So I think it's that time, y'all. It's your boy DJ Rowe, and it is that time. Anna's Global History Radio. Anna, are you in the building? Turn on your mic, please. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, man, I'm still completely messed up with what I'm doing because now I just have my iPad. I don't have my computer was fried in the fire. And so I was using a different computer last week, which was also fucked. So now I just have my iPad. So
You
I
mean,
could,
what do you mean your computer was fried in the fire?
it I guess it was plugged in and the cords on the side of the house burnt.
Oh, wow. Gotcha. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. And well, last week I should have just figured that out, but I forgot that the cords were on the side of the house. So the computer people told me I'd need to bring it in, and the computers lose value so quickly, it's just not even worth it. And then when I saw what was wrong with the internet, which was like burnt up cords, I figured that must have been what killed my computer. And with this getup, I'm having a really hard time arranging it with the microphone. So yes, that's my tech woes. And I have a new
Oh, you're not, are you on the mic right now?
no.
Oh, gotcha.
No, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you real good.
Yeah. I think it comes across more in the recording than whether we actually hear it. And I have a new tripod, which I really needed, but yeah, I practically called you for part of it, and I'm still not happy with it. It doesn't seem to be turning. But anyway, Shantae is going to be coming on shortly. Shoot, let me send her the invitation. So what is up?
Yeah, man, your boy pulled a sneak attack this week.
I know, huh?
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
I kind of am. He was the one that was talking. Well, you're right. You know what? I'm not surprised. You're right.
Well,
You're right.
yeah,
You're right. I have to agree with you on that one.
yeah, it's another one of those things that we've been hearing that it might happen for so many years. Same with the deportations. I mean, when somebody talks about doing something enough, you should believe them.
Yeah, what's funny is though he said he wouldn't do that. I guess he was trying to say that back a long time ago he used to say that Biden and Obama and them they would do it. They would be the ones that would go to war with Iran. And he
Really?
wound up doing it. Yeah, he said it. He said he wouldn't do it. He said at the time he was trying to clown them, saying they're going to be the ones to start the next war. Just like
Um,
normal Trump, he does it, but I'm sure he'll come up with some excuse why it was okay that he did it. So
oh yeah. Well, I just sort of think about the things he's said since he's been elected, and I don't know. I mean, he says it, he claims that it was precision, that like one of the targets was the size of a washing machine. I mean, they're claiming that it was a precision hit, that they only took out the nuclear areas. If Iran, Iran is not, I have not ever heard it mentioned that Iran hides their nuclear mechanisms near civilians. I mean, the reason that Gaza has such a horrible human toll is because Hamas hides beneath they dig tunnels between their military um, posts are beneath schools and hospitals and civilian areas. That is true. And so that is the, you know, you, I don't know if you'd call it an excuse or a justification or whatever. That is the justification for the bombings. That what Israel claims is that they need to take out Hamas, and that this is how they need to do it. And it's a different category. I mean, it's a casualty of war. It's not a direct hit on civilians. To be extremely clear, that's not how I view it, that at all. That's just kind of the military language, or whatever, policy language. Yeah. Yeah, which is why it is incorrect to call the Gaza war a genocide. It is not the deliberate targeting of people. So, you know, call stuff what it is, basically. I mean, you can, unacceptable civilian casualties, or I don't know. But anyway, we have not heard yet if there were casualties in Iran. They've continued to bomb Israel. I mean, this would have happened. There's no way, well, I don't think there's any way that they would have done this without notifying Israel, because Iran can't reach the US. I believe they're going to bomb Israel as retaliation for what happened.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how all this is gonna turn out.
Yeah. Yeah, I
This
know.
dude, I also heard that he didn't really go through the proper channels before he did it. I don't know how true that is. That he literally just kind of chose to just kind of bomb Iran.
Well, that is one of those things that there's going to be different interpretations of. You need the authority of Congress to declare war, but you don't need the authority of Congress to bomb places. To my understanding, he has not declared war. So, I mean, you can hardly go to Congress to ask for permission to do something which is supposed to be covert. So, I don't agree with that.
Hmm.
I mean, that's the thing that about the law and politics. There's different interpretations. So, there's some very smart people that think it was illegal, basically. So, I don't think so, but I mean, they bomb stuff all the time. And you know what was, because okay, yeah, because like Bush got authorization to go to war in Iraq. That's about the last time I ever remember that happening. I don't think Obama got I don't think anybody got authorization to go into Afghanistan from Congress. Maybe they did. I don't know. I'll have to look that
I
up.
don't know, man. If it, it seemed like Obama to do anything, he would have had to go through it. They wouldn't have let him do it. I don't think
Well,
they would have let him just bomb it like that.
I mean, that's not. It's not. That is a decision. That's a government decision. Basically, I don't fly for that. I don't go for that personal opinion. That at the personal interpretation of it. I guess. I mean, it is, but I don't know. I mean, there could have been reason or justification, but I don't it was always so weird to me that I considered Afghanistan to be more, well, it was an occupation, I guess. I mean, it was, but I thought they went into Afghanistan because they were searching for Osama bin Laden. Yeah, yeah, but there's always other stuff going on with these bombings, so I don't know. Maybe it's something to distract us.
Could be.
I was just trying to tune it out. I got on Facebook and I just saw these posts about the war ending. So I got off Facebook. I was listening to news of Africa, because even when you're trying to, there's still too much US news there in the first place, but I just had to get away from it. It was just too much. Oh wait, okay. So what were the one I was? Oh wait, was I listening on my computer? Okay. Oh yeah, focus on Africa. Um. Oh well, this is sad. There's been continued killings in Nigeria. Oh, this was sort of interesting. A young man from the Democratic Republic of Congo is on path to sainthood, and he was somebody that was a government worker who was in charge of distributing food, and there was so much corruption in that, and he refused to distribute spoiled food that would make people sick, and he was killed. However, so I think it's cool for them. I mean, if you're gonna have a saint, I think it's cool for them to make it somebody, a young guy from Africa or whatever, so that to inspire people and give people something to live up to. But I don't know I don't, if you're really supposed to have committed miracles to be a saint. That was kind of the question with this guy. I mean, I think that's got to get harder and harder to make saints, because we're just not that likely to believe in miracles anymore.
I
But
agree.
hey, all right. Hey y'all, here she is. The
Oh,
queen.
Shantae's in the building.
All right.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Hey. Friend of the
I got my
podcast.
I got my fro today, you know.
Very
Mhm.
pretty.
I
Very
had to,
pretty.
70s and whatnot. What's going on?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're catching up on some world news and all this crazy tech problems I was having.
Mm,
Yeah. What's
mm.
going on with you? You got a bunch of new stuff out, huh?
I know. I don't know what happened. I don't know. It's just like ever since I had got sick and I started getting better, it was just something was happening to me, like when I was in the hospital. because I continued to try and work, even though I was in ICU and all that other stuff. I was still like I was still drawing, I was still writing my book, like I was still, working. I was just like, you know what, like I gotta be a success story. I gotta, be an inspiration.
Yeah.
And it was like so much, it was racism, it was abuse, it was all types of stuff that I was going through in the hospital. And I just felt like I had to make it out. You know what I mean? I had to tell people like what's going on in there and tell them like, because if they was gonna let me die, you know what I mean? So I had to really fight for my life. You know what I mean? They don't treat Black women the best
Yeah.
in healthcare. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah. That's a very real thing.
yeah, I'm used to being on the caring side. You know what I mean? Like
I know.
I'm
Yeah.
the nurse. You know what I mean? And so when I was the patient, it was crazy because they would act like I just had a cold. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you just told me, oh, well, you got like 3 more months. And it was like, well, you got to try and get, you your own, doctor and this and that. I'm like, so you just leaving it up to me? I could barely breathe, barely do anything for myself. But this white girl, she breaks her arm. You got the whole hospital in there, like, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting up here like, wait a minute. I hear the whispers, you know what I mean? I hear them when they're like, yeah, she probably, be doing drugs, or she probably this or that. That's why she asking for pain medicine. And it was a lot. So it's just like I put
Yeah.
my heart into writing my book because I was
Yeah.
so angry. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta make my character a hero. You know what I mean? Even if it's in a different way, I just felt like shit. You know what I mean? And so they saw me working. And I was like, oh, I thought I was a crackhead though. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I didn't know you went to college. I didn't know you was an artist. I didn't know this. So I had to be somebody, you know what I mean? You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To get some treatment. It was like, oh, I saw your Facebook profile. I saw this. I guess you really are important, huh? Like little shit like that.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
that's what I tell you. So I was just like, look, y'all know me though. I mean, a few people did get cursed out. I mean, I'm still the same. You know what I mean with that. But I was just like, but it was like for a right, I had to stand up for something. You know what I mean? And so that's why I documented, all the steps of the way. You know what I mean? And I just felt like once I get out the hospital, I'm just gonna go harder than
Yeah.
I already was. You know what I mean? Like I gotta
Well,
step on that
yeah.
for real.
I
You
mean,
know,
it's so important. And the more people talk, the more people realize who've gone through that realize that they're not alone. And
no, they're not alone. And it was
yeah.
a lot of people that felt like they couldn't speak up. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to speak up because I'm like, hold on, you know what I mean? This is not right. You know what I mean? And they made sure I went to the most dirty hospital. They made sure I had, the most cheapest provider. You know what I mean? It barely gave me checkup stuff. I had to handle all that on my own. You know what I mean? I spent money out my pocket when I have insurance, but where's my money going? You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, I don't know, people better check their insurance and stuff. I'm telling y'all better check all that stuff on your own. They'll just set you up with people you don't even know who you seeing. You might not be seeing the right doctor for the right stuff. You can be misdiagnosed. They don't care. You know what I mean? Like they always be like, oh, I can't wait till I go home. All these people, they just act like they're dying. I'm like, bitch, we in the hospital. We is dying. What is you talking
That's
about?
horrible. God,
Like,
why do people, I mean, yeah, I mean, I worked in healthcare. I mean, I've seen I've seen people act horrible. Yeah.
oh,
And I've
man.
seen, why the
Yeah,
fuck do people do that?
no, I don't know. And then, they
Just
always kind of
terrible.
saying the same stuff like, well, I don't get paid enough for this. If it's a lot of people that should be getting mental health, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And they'll just put them in a room, leave them there all day. They'll leave them there for days. And then sometimes by the time the people come and get them, they feed them all these lies. Of course, they went crazy in this room 24 hours after you just said you was gonna get them help. So they isolated, they in there tripping, no phone, no windows. So by the time the people come and talk to them, they is crazy.
Well,
So they're like,
sure.
see how
Yeah.
they're acting? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because they get little monies and stuff like that when they be admitting people like that. I didn't know that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you can just go in there and be like, well, I'm having a bad day. I'm not having the best of thoughts, you are suicidal and they shipping you off just for saying that. Instead of linking you with someone to talk to, they just ship you off. They put me in there over a weekend because I was depressed about hearing that I was dying.
Well, yeah.
Mind you, it was like, so you're suicidal. You can't talk to me after me just hearing I have a terminal illness and then just take those feelings and emotions and say, yeah, she's suicidal. So they knowing that I have a terminal illness, they put me into a place that I'm not going to get no medical treatment. How that work? You know what I'm saying? It was for
Yeah.
real. It was over the weekend. They made sure it was over the weekend so I wouldn't be able to call nobody. Trent didn't
Yeah.
even know where I was at. So nobody knew where I was at. I was just gone. I didn't even know nobody knew. I was like, oh yeah, we'll call everybody. They didn't call nobody. Nothing. They didn't let me use the phone. They gave us old food. Like it was real. So I have to tell people about the healthcare system, and I'm trying to work with a couple of things because everybody be striking for shit, but the way people in the healthcare system is treating Black women is bad. Just colored women, period. Latina women, Asian women, they just don't treat us right up in there. So that's another reason why, Rosie, I want to do the show because I want to be talking about that there too.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want to bring awareness to all that. Like I want to make merchandise. I want to do a whole bunch of shit, and then I want to raise money with my book.
Well, yeah.
I gotta, there's some charities and stuff that's centered around this type of stuff. So I definitely want to get more mixed in with that and then incorporate it with my art, gotta do
Yeah.
some hustle in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for real, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about that because I'm gonna get upset, but it's bad and we gotta really start talking about it more. I don't know why people don't talk about it. I guess you have to go through it, but I kind of been knew it was like this, but it was different being on the other end. And I got a lot of scars, got a lot of wounds from being mistreated and, not cared for. So, and I'll never heal from those scars. You know what I mean? They're permanent. So, and I didn't have to get those if I had the right treatment. So, I got to bring awareness to that for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. Mm-mm. But don't be mad. I see your face. You over there feeling it, girl. It's okay though. But I mean, that's another reason why I just was just putting myself into work. Like I'm not, just being sober. I ain't out in the streets. You know what I mean? I'm not in groups of people that I don't need to be around. You know what I mean? They're still drinking and fighting and carrying on. Like I can't be around in that world. You know what
Well,
I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
solitude, and just it don't be nothing but me and prayer. You know what I mean? Like when you get another chance like that, you gotta take it serious.
Yeah.
Like for real. It was like real cut short. And I just feel like it's just gotta be like a new me. It's still me, but you know, like I'm all about career. I'm all about just getting my next degree. You know what I mean? I gotta write another book to this book. Like I just have to work hard because I just feel like I was finna die and have nothing to leave behind for real. You know what I mean? And that made me feel bad. Like, I did a lot of things, but I didn't put enough in concrete. It's not solidified all the way. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
just feel I gotta leave something. You know what I mean? Like when you Google me, multiple motherfucking things gotta come up. You know what I mean? It got to be, I need to get to a Wikipedia. You know what I mean? So I gotta work hard. And as a Black woman, I feel like, I'm already misjudged. You know what I mean? I'm from the ghetto and I ain't gonna be nothing. And I have to like, no, I'm educated. You know what I mean? I've gone far in my life. So I just feel like, I want to be that inspiration. I feel like when people see me kind of bounce back from that and continue to go and the good time, bad times, I feel like that inspires people because some people get lazy with their life. When you could do, if I could do it, and sometimes I can't even breathe. Sometimes I can't even move. If I could do it, you can do it. It shouldn't be no reason to be sitting there lazy, talking about, I'll do it tomorrow, none of that. You know what I mean? Like you at all. You just can't be just going to parties and this and that. If it ain't making you no money, what are you doing? You know what I mean? People be asking me, you gonna go to this event, that event, for what? Like I'm not getting anything from it. You know what I mean? I have to get something from it. I have to get something from a show. I'm not gonna talk about the stuff that I talked about on Happy Hour. I'm past that now. You know what I mean? Like we gotta talk about some stuff up in here. You know what I mean? Even though it was fun, but we gotta talk about other stuff for real. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about hitting age up too, but we hadn't seen you in so long. So
Oh Lord. Well, hit
yeah.
him up. I ain't gonna stay forever, but you can get him here. It'll be everybody for 2 seconds if you want. That's up to you. Shoot. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we
he
hadn't,
got he got a new book right now too, don't he?
I I know, huh? Damn. Yeah.
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 I
Yeah.
mean, shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually, to be honest with you, we got to get everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like Dynasty has been out, for a minute. She's kind of missing the gang. Bella.
Hmm.
We gotta get Bella, and I don't know who else, but you know, get everybody together and talk about some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little reunion thing.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I'm better now because I wanted to do that like a few months ago, but I don't know. I started some new treatment and that wasn't gonna work. But I don't know. But I am gonna be out there though. Roselle.
When?
I don't know. I want to do it. I want to do my art show at the end of July.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't know. Did that work? Because I'm like, do people be outside like that in July? Because
Sure.
I want to do it
It's not like
when
anybody here
I
has
want to
money
do
to
it. I
go
want
on
it when it's
vacation.
busy. I want to do it when it's busy, like how Art Walk be.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I can really like get some people in there. So
Yeah. Yeah. They're blocking off more streets for Art Walk. So
yeah, I want to get out there, and I actually want to like do some live portraits or some live drawing or something like that.
yeah.
Get some canvases so people can paint or something. You know what I mean? Them to like
Yeah.
really be active in the event, not just kind of sitting around, looking at stuff. I want them to be entertained. Roselle,
Yeah.
try to get the playlist together.
For
Yeah.
sure, I got you.
Okay. Well, how are you, Roselle? You just gonna be quiet? I ain't seen you in 2 years. You gonna be
I'm
quiet?
good. Good, just
Oh,
chilling,
oh,
just
you just
chilling.
chilling. Oh, okay.
Yeah, same old stuff.
Did you get the book yet? Did you read it?
I got the book. I haven't read it yet,
No. Well,
but I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna talk to you.
Mm,
I got you.
mm. Well, you know what? When you finally do read it, I think it's one of those where you could probably read it in a day. The story just kind of goes in, it goes and goes and goes, and you're not gonna want to like put it down for sure.
Okay.
No, because I'm confident. I know that for sure. I already got my reviews. Okay. I've been making my sales. So I already know it's that. And I'm
I
proud of it too. Shoot. It was hard, and it costs a lot of money. But you gotta invest in yourself.
You did? Did you get it printed yourself?
I did all that. I had to work with a company. I had to pay
Oh,
for
okay. So
yeah,
it's not on
I
it.
went through a whole thing. I had to get a whole author thing, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I can be part of the community. Like I wanted to go all the way with it, you know what I mean? So and right now I'm gonna be working with them to do some promotions and some giveaways and stuff like that, just a little bit later on. That's more money, but that's how the book was able to just be done and professional and already out and be live everywhere. I don't have to worry about it. Got an ebook, got everything else on there. So it's on Amazon. But yeah, I had to invest. I mean, I didn't want to just do it and then it be half-assed and just put it out. And it was just like a little kid's book or something like that. That's not what I wanted for my book. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I wanted it to be a grown-up book. I wanted it to be a novel. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be for us adults to read, you know what I mean, like a real reader. So I wanted to really put some money in it. And I mean, I feel like I'm gonna get that back. And I'm already getting it back. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay.
You
Yeah, I
gotta
thought you did I thought you did the Amazon thing. So
I no, I didn't have to do that. I had to pay for them. They worked with me to do it.
oh,
They set
okay.
it up. They set it up and everything. So I'm good. It's called Artist Central, and it's a couple other things, but I need to get into some book
Yeah.
clubs, like some clubs. I want to meet other people, some more authors and stuff. So you can help me out with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in the Bay Area, because I know I'm out here, but
Oh,
I'm
there's
done.
so much writing stuff in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I'm done with Sacramento with this, but I need to meet some people in the Bay, kind of mingle out there. I ain't been out there in a minute, so I don't want to see everybody, but I want to go out there and really mingle and go to some stuff. Y'all got to take me out because it's been a minute.
I've been saying anytime.
I ain't been ready to go yet, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I ain't been ready yet. But
Yeah.
yeah. No, because
Yeah.
it just be weird because it goes up and down.
Well, sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like sometimes when I'm having a good week and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be good, 24 hours later, it's just like, okay, well, damn, I almost gotta go to the emergency room. It just switches up.
Yeah.
So I always have to see like,
Sure.
okay, if I'm having a good month, then maybe I'll be good. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to be hanging out with y'all. Y'all gotta take me to the emergency. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I think I got new treatment now, so I think,
You got a doctor you like? Okay.
I got a doctor.
No, yeah. So
I don't
they're,
like him. I don't like
yeah,
him now. But, you know,
it's
uh,
rough. Yeah.
it's rough because, it's just, it's like you can't really pick and choose, you know
You
what I mean?
can't.
And that's the thing, a lot of people don't know, like, oh, I want my doctor to be like this. It don't work like that. You
Yeah.
gotta kind of work with whatever your insurance or what they say. It's like,
Yeah.
it's wild. But I don't, because they tried to cancel me one time just because I missed one appointment and I was unable to get to that appointment. I was having an infection with my ascites and I was sick and I had said that. It was like, well, you're missing too many appointments. That was the only one I missed. And but you see how easy it was to kind of like get ready to drop me though. And
Yeah.
it was a whole thing. Like it's happening right now. Like I'm kind of worried about who my next doctor is going to be. So it's always a scary thing. And so
Well, yeah, because you just have so little control over it. It is
I don't
scary.
have no control.
Yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
I be thinking I do, but
Yeah.
then something will go on and it'd be like, no, it'd be like, oh, you got to call this, call that, or we'll call you back, or, I mean, it took me forever to even get connected with someone for disability, you
Mhm.
know,
That's really hard. Yeah.
and I was struggling. Like my savings was gone, everything I had worked for, you know what I mean? I almost lost my truck. It was just mayhem, like I had no choice but to get in gear, like it just had to work through it no matter what, man, because it was ugly business. It was ugly. Hey, Trent says hi. Miss
What up,
Anna.
Trent?
Okay. Well, it's almost time for me to eat, you guys, but I want to set up something with you guys, Roselle, Anna. What's
Yeah,
going on? Is she
yeah. She turned
Yeah,
off
here I
her.
am.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, well, next time, I don't know if you guys are gonna do it. Are you guys doing the show again on Sunday?
Yeah.
For
Trying
sure.
to.
I gotta see next Sunday. Next Sunday, I'm supposed to be doing Najee's wedding.
Oh, okay.
So
So
yeah, I don't know
yeah,
about
so
next Sunday.
no, maybe like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, next week is supposed to be Najee's wedding on the 29th.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, Okay, well, yeah. Then I mean, we'll talk to Age, and then we can all, be on here and chit chat and lollygag and whatnot. But I'm
Yeah.
saying thank you. I know I didn't stay that long, but I can't even sit that long, so I'm sorry. But
Well, no. I mean, I'm happy to see you, and
I know I ain't been all up on the camera in a minute. I'm like, do I look okay? Do I look good? I'm like, is everything good? Like I'm
you
over
look
here like,
great. You always do.
I used to be in the front of the camera, just and now I'm just like, okay, am I good? I gotta be a little bit more settled. It's weird because I'm just like trying to come back into being around people, talk to people. You know what I mean? Only thing I know is hospital, hospital. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, I got anxiety now. You know what I mean? That's something
Yeah.
that I never really didn't struggle with before. So it's just like, do I want to talk? Do I want to see people? Am I okay? It don't be shy. It just be like I don't feel like myself all the way yet. You know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
a lot to go through in the span of a year and it's still not over yet. I'm not fully me yet. That's how
Yeah.
I be. You know what I mean? It's so weird because I don't feel like I know how to explain it. It
Yeah.
messes with my mood. Like I just feel lonely and weird, and it gets me angry and stuff. So it's just like I'm just still trying to adjust. Just like, well, let me see if I can get on the show.
Well,
And
yeah.
yeah,
That's a good way to
yeah,
do it.
yeah. And then, now I want to do another show.
There you
See,
go.
don't bring me back.
Yeah. Of
Don't bring me
course.
back to do this podcast. But yeah, but Roselle, get the book. I'm gonna just say this, Bahari and Jabari, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
about
and then I have it, but I have not read it yet either. I'm sorry.
no, that's okay, because look, you bought it. That's that's all that matters to me, okay? Because you're gonna read
Next
it.
time, I'll have it read by next time.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. We'll talk about it more when you read it. It's no rush. I'm just happy that you guys supported it and bought it.
Of course we
That I
did.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. I'm proud of it. You guys, knew I was gonna rock it out. I had to rock it out for the team. So I'm not tripping like that. I'm just happy you got it. So, I got an autograph it, like I
Yeah.
autographed everything. But yeah, but for real, let's continue to write some more books though. We got to continue to change
I'm
the world.
working on my next one,
Yeah, let's
but
do it.
you know, it's just yeah, I don't know. I wish I could do the illustrations myself so I didn't have to wait around for the artist, but
That's crazy because I'm like, that's a whole nother, like, I wouldn't, I'm not better than nobody, but that's a whole different type of flex for me. You know what I mean? I was able to be able to do my own artwork, create my own little character, and do whatever I needed to do. It was a lot of work though, because if I was able to pay someone else to do it, it would have been great. Probably wouldn't have took as long, but I felt like, this is my first book. It's not really the first. I did like some comic stuff before, but this is my first book, and I want it to be all of me completely. You know what I mean? And then later on, I might be able to work with other people and do other stuff, but I needed this to come from the soul. Like it had to be me all over it. It's dedicated to my grandmother, so it was different. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I had to do it for her. She always knew that I wanted to write a book. And, she's not here. So I just had to just represent, So I just feel accomplished. And I did it sober. And I'm proud of that as
Yeah.
well. It's been a
Yeah.
year. It's gone a year and some change
Wow.
sober.
Yeah.
So, and it feel good. So I like that.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different type of vibe, and I just, people be sounding crazy to me now because they be drunk and I don't know what's happening. I'll be like, oh no. Like, oh, did I sound like that? It'd be like, no, I just can't go back to it. But I'm working through some stuff. So this was good for me because, like I said, people don't know the anxiety that you get when you come out of the hospital like that because that was my home. So
Sure.
getting on the camera and all that other stuff, it was just like, I feel like I'm in front of 100 people, even though it's just you guys. But I'm a
Age is Age is on. Age is on the
Chat.
Age is on the YouTube.
on
Hi,
the
Age.
I don't see
Hey.
him.
He just wrote some comments.
Oh, he's on the YouTube.
He's on the YouTube.
Hey, Age. Tell him
left.
to Age, you gotta come next Sunday if they do it.
Yeah, Sunday after. Yeah, Sunday after, because yeah.
Sunday.
he's
Okay,
doing.
just be safe. Sunday after. Okay.
Well, if Rose is DJing a wedding that day, I think that's
I
kind of.
didn't even know he was giving. Congratulations again to Najee, though.
Oh, isn't that? Yeah.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, isn't it sweet? I mean, yeah.
I don't want to ever get married again. No, but that's sweet. I can't do it. You know what I mean? I feel like you have to be right. And I'm so happy for people that found that person and can do it. Especially
him and Amani been together for a
especially
while.
in this world,
She's a
like
sweetie. Yeah.
Yeah, like they've been together a minute too. So
Yeah.
I love that. Black love. But yeah. Well, I'm gonna go eat, y'all.
Okay, you do that.
My back hurt. I can't really sit too long. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to get it. But
Well, sure.
yeah,
Hey, I'm liking the fro though. I'm liking the afro.
Yeah, I like that too.
It's because it's just better. You know what I mean? Because the weave be just, it's fake and it be all down my back. And it's just like, you know what? I be feeling good when I'm just natural and chilling. You know
It's
what
beautiful.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I be trying. Plus, I know Roselle like when I wear my hair like this because he want to go back to the 70s. So, I just be trying to give him some help with that. Shoot. But Anna, you look good too. You look all fresh.
Thank
Look
you.
at this. You ain't Asian or nothing. Look at that. I knew you was black.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. I keep saying I'm gonna go. I ain't went nowhere yet. But I love y'all.
Love you.
All right.
you
I'll
too.
be back.
Okay.
I don't even know. Okay. How do you even turn this off? I forgot. Oh, okay. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Wow. Let's listen to some music.
All right, yeah. This break is gonna be dedicated to her with the afro. So
Yes. Yeah.
it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Radio for the world. Ooh, I said radio. And it's Global Radio, y'all. Let's go.
Let's just stop some shooting to all the shootings. Damn right. Man, when this kismet was brother man. Can you dig it? You forget the little come out, the message you're all about. I know. I see this cat chef at the bad mother. I'm talking about, sure. He was a complicated man, but no one understands him but his woman. Light moon shining bright. There's a set going strong. What's going on? The man has an air of great. The dudes haven't been here for so long. You see, you make your fortune. If you lose,
no questions. Alone was there. Don't understand what I felt from man. This cat in the slum had a man, wasn't young. The weirdness was shown, since hustle was wrong. His mind was its own, man left alone. See, you go, if you lose, there's no patience why. All the game was good. Child, seeing the smile. I'm a child, so is autumn. Sad and a little child, thinking he's been happy. In the back of his mind, he says, didn't have to be here. You didn't have to love.
Not at the bridge. Oh, it's on this side of the border.
Some of that.
Y'all come on over here with us. You want to walk the water? And if you should see a skunk shake his rump. Come on over here for some Nate Funk in the Dump, baby. Now we got this stick. No, that will set you free. All you got to do is take a closer walk with me. You got this. It's full of magic tricks. So come feel if you will. The magic stick.
Woo! And we are back, y'all. Anna's Global History Radio. Anna, are you in the building?
Yes, I am.
All right.
So I was just looking on Facebook, and I saw that a writer, a San Francisco writer, was temporarily banned on Facebook after writing about LA riots. I just saw the headline. There might be more to the story, but there's all these comments underneath it saying there were no riots.
Oh boy.
Pardon?
I'm listening to you. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. Somebody else is like, riots? We haven't had riots. I live 60 miles away and I was just there last Saturday. It's just so weird how the world can see things so differently. Sometimes I feel like I do look at lots of different sources of information, which I think is good, but sometimes I think it's making me confused. Or I don't know. I was talking with a friend of mine was asking me the other day, like, well, what do you think of Trump? And I said, well, what do you think? I'm like, I'm not going here. So he kind of wanted to express himself, and he was talking about ICE and all of that. And, Mario, it's changing what my friend Mario is doing, because so many of the Katrinas a lot of the musicians that he works with aren't going out because they're concerned about ICE. But I don't know. I bet they're probably keeping busy while everybody's distracted with the bombings.
Did you hear about what happened in, I guess, I don't know if it's a town or a city of Bell in California? I
No.
guess apparently the city got together and they kicked ICE out the city.
How can they do that?
Don't ask me how to do the police. They showed it, dude. It was the police. It was the police and the fire department and all the, I guess, people that were picketing against them. They blocked them off and kicked them out, and all the ICE people bounced. They left.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't, I would not, I wouldn't want the city of Vallejo I wouldn't want the city of Vallejo taken over. Put it that way. Honestly,
Yeah.
people would there's people that would probably love, yeah, I know plenty of people be like, oh yeah, we'd love that. Nah, I don't know. I, I mean, the fucking politicians sure aren't helping with their drama.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's almost getting to a point where it's like, I don't know, man. I just don't feel good about the situation, period, all the way around. It's just not a good.
No,
This whole
I
situation is
don't like
bad.
how anybody's going about it, I
Yeah.
mean,
So
this is a government agency. You can't just act like they're not, I mean, like they're not there. To me, it's sort of like they're gonna be able to get people. So I think that leaders should be, I mean, that's why I didn't like what Padilla was doing. I think that leaders need to stay calm and rational and try and settle things, try and work stuff out with people. So
I agree. That's why
I,
I think the whole thing. That's my one reason for thinking the whole thing is messed up. Is I kind of feel when Trump put all this into place, he didn't really work it in a good way. If you're gonna do something like this, I think you should try to look at other possibilities and work with people a little more.
well, but that's Trump. He's always like that.
Yeah,
He's
but
always like that. What I'm saying is that people like Newsom and Padilla just play right into his hands. He wants a fight and they give it to him, basically.
I just don't see what else they can do.
They can act like grown-ups.
Like, okay, what would you expect them to do if someone just literally just says, "I'm gonna send ICE into your area"? No diplomacy whatsoever, and just kind of comes in and does what he's gonna do anyway. It's causing a
Well,
fight.
I would not. He does have the authority under the law to do that. So, in a situation like that, I think the smarter thing to do would be to negotiate about giving people more notice, like about working with communities. That's what the leaders should be doing because the fact is, he does have the authority to do that. That's the
He-
law. So I think if you're an elected official, it is your job that you need to comply with the law, that you shouldn't be able to like pick and choose because you're an officer of the law as well. And so I mean, they are all perfectly happy to, I mean, Newsom is perfectly happy to sign a piece of paper to put males in women's prisons. They're happy to have authority and act powerful when they can. So you can't, I mean, it's kind of a principle, what I think is a principle of diplomacy is that arguing means that you've lost, and that if you argue like somebody like Trump, you're just gonna, I mean, he loves shit like that. He lives for stuff like that. And yes, Newsom should have sent in the National Guard his own damn self. So that's on him. I mean, I don't think that protesters have a right to stop everybody else from going about their business, basically. I mean, I don't think that people have places to go, people have things to do, and so the idea that they're doing something great, I think, is pretty stupid. So, go ahead and protest without making everybody else stop what they're doing. So you just need to keep talking with people. I mean, I had a meet. So okay, here you go. I had a meeting with a local assembly member with Assembly Member Lori Wilson of District 11, and I wanted to talk to her about males and women's prisons. So I knew she wasn't going to be, I thought she might be responsive to the human side of it. And people were saying to me, she has a trans child. And I'm going like, well, I'm just thinking like, well, maybe she can see her having a transgender child and males being locked up with women is a completely separate issue. I would have really liked it if she viewed it that way. But so I got up there, and it was like these 15-minute increments, and I said, I'm here representing the women of Chowchilla prison, and I put these letters that I have from them down at the table, and I said, who are locked up with males. And so she immediately went into this kind of lecture about the law. And she was going like, well, that comes down to this piece of legislation. I was like, yeah, AB 311. And so she and she said, and there's a court case. And so what I did, and I mean, she was being pretty condescending. She's saying, well, I'm just explaining to you about the legalities. And what I did was, I didn't try and argue with her. I didn't say like, I know. I mean, I let her talk. I mean, you just want to let people talk. I didn't try and cut her off. I didn't try and interject much. I just listened, and I put in just very brief comments, and then while she was going on and on, I said, it's a human rights abuse. So she sort of looked at me, and then she kept going, and she was going on, and I said, these women have PTSD every day. And she sort of looked at me, but then she said, I mean, it was just totally garbled. She said, well, there was only one case and nothing happened. So I'm looking at her thinking, so I said, like, there were more. And some, I mean, I did quietly sort of contradict her about that, because like, what? I mean, that's just completely incorrect. So in a situation like that, I mean, she wouldn't look at the letters I just felt that in that situation, the thing to do was to just talk a little bit. And I decided beforehand that all I really wanted to do was try and connect with her on a human level about these women. And I said, I know you care. And she's like, yeah. And she said, I do. And she said, we discussed this in the women's caucus. And so she was sort of like looking at me like that. It was sort of like, yes, we discussed it in the and I'm thinking like, well, so I mean, all you Democratic women just went ahead and shit on us. So I don't care. And I told her that I asked if she knew who Amy Ichikawa was, and I said that what I'm doing is is connecting Amy, which I talked about a lot here, with BWOPA, with Black Women Organized for Political Action, because BWOPA is nonpartisan. And I mean, and then with NAACP, because NAACP doesn't have to, I mean, they can take whatever position they want. So I'm still working on that. BWOPA didn't meet in person this June. So I'm still kind of reminding Amy about that. So, I mean, BWOPA means that Lori Wilson will see the issue again. And I said what I said at the very beginning, I said something like, I really support, staying out of an issue, or I was trying to say that I didn't really expect her to do anything about it. So she was going on and on about the law and all of this. And I said, I think it needs to happen on all fronts. And she's like, what do you mean by that? And I'm thinking like, well, that's sort of cool. Cause I was thinking like, I thought that was pretty obvious. And I said there needs to be advocacy. There needs to be legislation. There needs to be speaking out. There needs to be, that's how you have to do anything. And so so basically you don't get anywhere by arguing, means you've lost. I wanted to have a conversation with her, and I mean, she didn't. I would have liked her to express more concern for the women. She didn't express any, but she's an elected leader. I mean, it's not. They have requirements and things they need to consider. So I don't know. Then she sort of said, she sort of goes, well, is there anything else? And I said, well, kind of, but this is just too important, because I wanted to talk to her about what fucking bullies the people at Solano Pride are. But since she shot me down about the incarcerated women, I figured that was kind of pointless. But, I mean, I didn't, in a situation like that, I mean, we've had this conversation, and I was respectful and appreciative of her time. So, I mean, you just need to keep going and think of this as one teeny step on a path, and we just need to keep going with all of the legislation. And yeah, I always stick in, I know you care, to people, because, well, with most people. So yeah. So the big thing I'm working on is getting events, getting the documentary about my brother's work shown to people, because I've been talking about his work to people for years. And now that there's a documentary about it, there's something tangible for people to see. And so I've been gradually I was sending people gift links, and you can only do that through email. So that's impossible because people don't pay attention. It just gets piled up in emails. So I started Cash App, and I'd send people the link on their phone and Cash App $6 so they could rent it.
Nice.
Yeah. So one professional here that runs the crisis line, that runs a crisis response unit, watched it, and he's going to watch it with his team. And I was trying to do an event, and I was working with Jamila on that. And so I've just been trying to set a date and time. And so I'd send her a couple emails saying, just give me a date that you can do it, then I'll find a venue and all of that. And so I got a message from her Wednesday saying she'd get back to me Sunday. And what's funny is she's super busy. I mean, she's one of these people that will, and she'll be apologetic for not getting back to me. And I'm always just like, it's okay. I know you're busy. And I felt like, okay, after the dozens of times I've said it's fine that you didn't get back to me, you're now like telling me to just wait for half a week while I'm trying to get something going. So I went ahead and booked Integrity for the entire day on Friday the 27th. And I've just been building a coalition, you could say. And so I'm trying to get just like, the crisis response team is going to view the film on Monday or Tuesday. So then some of them will be there on Friday. I mean, I'm calling it a community conversation. That's a better way to put it across than say, because the film is called Can't Look Away, The Case Against Social Media. It's because the real reason that I want to do this is to have the conversation. So I'm putting down on the publicity. There needs to be research. There needs to be outreach. And it's a step-by-step process of outreach. I'm trying to bring in people that work with kids, basically, so they can see this information and determine and discuss their next step so far as kids go, and also for educating other professionals. Because one of the things that will really make a difference is being able to ask questions, because the algorithms send kids super disturbing material and dangerous messages. So when people know that, I think with kids, you need to ask them those specific questions, like, is this, and people need to understand that their kids' identities are not protected online, that adults can contact them and do contact them. And so they need to, so basically, yeah, for stuff like that. And I think there really needs to be more medical research because social media is addictive. And one of the things I'm trying to get across to people, because there's all people like, oh, yeah, these parents don't do anything. I'm like, that's not, this is an addiction. This is medical. That's not what I'm talking. And there's this problem, there's this danger for kids, there's these things that need to change. I'm not here to get on parents' cases. And I was actually almost getting a little annoyed with somebody and she's like, I know you say that, Anna, but I know all about this. And I'm thinking like, well, you don't, because the information about the damage and how it works is still being figured out. I mean, because they had to find out a lot of this information in order to take it to court. So I was just listening at that point. But anyway, the point with argument 2 is that people start going off about how parents need to do this. And I just say all the time that I am talking about in addition to. I said, this is in addition to, not instead of. And this is not this is not about telling people how to parent, because I'm not a parenting expert. I wouldn't be going to all this trouble just to tell people to watch their kids better. And adults need to work on this too. I mean, we adults are addicted to our phones too. And a lot of the parents that we're going to be trying to work with are like in their 30s or even younger. And so, and 40s, but so some of them are even more, I mean, they're closer to their kids' generation. I mean, social media has always been there for their adult lives as well. So that's just something to try and work on. And they're just tomorrow, my friend Mario is supposed to be connecting me with people from the health department, because basically with some of these issues, they need to take their kid to the doctor because the kid's addicted to something. And that's something which I'm sure that adolescent medicine specialists are trying to figure out too, since this is so prevalent. But I think, I mean, what people just kind of need to do incremental things like, okay, everybody turn your phones off at night. Stuff like that. So I have a person confirmed for a morning event, this really sweet lady named Mimi from NAACP. And so I'm trying to just get certain people confirmed for certain spots. And Mila watched the film, so I want her to be there as a youth leader. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to work on, basically. And everybody was really busy this past week getting ready for Juneteenth. And Juneteenth in Vallejo is so cool. There's a parade. I went down to the parade because, I mean, it's not very big, so you really need to be there to try and support people. And there was just tons going on down at the waterfront, lots of booths and really good music. So yeah, everybody was very busy with that.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you do any Juneteenth stuff?
I did not. I did not do any Juneteenth stuff.
No festivals or nothing?
Nah,
Yeah.
next year I'm going to, but no, not this year. No,
Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't do anything this year. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. So while all this bombing is going on, we're not hearing anything about the tariffs. So, and Doge.
Nope.
So,
Jeez. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Biden's Biden's aides and all of them are being questioned in the Senate about, there's now hearings on how incapacitated he was. And one of the things they're bringing, somehow, one of the books said that Biden used an auto pen to sign presidential directives and pardons. So now the Republicans are questioning whether they are legal. Because like an auto pen, I mean, that's what they use like with form letters that you get, so that'll just go like that. If you're signing a law or a pardon, you really should sign it for real. Um, so that's 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 going to be ugly because the the laws or statutes about it say that you need to the executive has to specifically tell the staffer or whatever to sign something, to use the auto pen. You can't just kind of have a blanket policy. So that is just so fucking lame and stupid. I mean, yeah, I mean, we talked about that last week. Why the fuck couldn't he just sign something? And yeah, because the stuff is always, you can't keep stuff like that secret. See, because
So I mean, is there a fact that they find actual proof that he used the auto pen?
um no, but they can because they can go back over records and see if there was a directive issued that it was okay to use auto pens.
Yeah, I want to see that when they show a directive issue and he used it, then I go with it. I don't know. I think sometimes, like I said, Trump and his whole little
This isn't coming from Trump. This
who's
was
this
in a
coming from?
this well, this was written about. There's books coming out now by like idiots cashing in. It's in a no, I mean it's in a book and a reputable book. I mean the people writing these books are journalists and researchers. They can't just make stuff up. I mean, and so
I don't know nowadays. I don't know.
well,
They gotta have some proof. It's easy for people to say stuff, but I'm
it's
sorry. I'm at the
not
point.
that well, no, I mean, it's not it's not as easy for them as it is like for us because of stuff like this, because people can go and find out if there was a directive, basically.
Okay.
And so yeah, it is harder to get away with stuff now than it used to
But yeah,
be.
I'm anxious to see if there's actually a directive or if someone just kind of just said that.
Well, yeah, they but yeah, it wasn't, I mean, Trump gets wind of that stuff. I'm sure he said something about it, but no, I mean, it's being talked about in the Senate. You know, these people are pretty busy. They don't just they don't just come up with these things out of nowhere, basically. I mean, look at all the wars that people said weren't. Um, so, yeah, I mean, it's certainly, um, I mean, it's kind of petty and stupid, but that's how politics is. And they should have realized that basically. Now they're trying to figure out, because when something like, okay, who was really giving some of these dumbass orders and directives, and it's just possibly people we don't, who weren't even in, there's like, okay, well, what about Biden's close circle and advisors and all of them. So yeah, yeah, but it's pretty bad, man. I think we're
Man,
I mean, it's not as, but however, um, part of it for me is that it's just so bothersome to me now about the I think I said this before, they're fucking losers. Who wants to do you want to ride with the losers? No, I don't want to ride with the losers.
yeah, I don't know, man, because sometimes people be playing games. There's a lot of wickedness that be going around with it. So just because someone loses, don't mean they wasn't right either. You know,
Well,
I kind of feel like the way politics works, it's more of who could be more of the snake sometimes.
but in politics, it is who wins and loses. If you lose, you're the loser. And that's one of the reasons why I don't accept excuses. See, that's the burn dog thing. He's like, says that he didn't win because it wasn't fair, because people did such and such. That doesn't matter in politics. If you lose, you're the loser. That's not the, and people were talking about how, people I know were thought Stacey Abrams was so great, and saying that, well, she should run for president, because if it hadn't been for such and such, she'd be the governor of Georgia. I'm like, well, yeah, but she's not the governor of Georgia. So it doesn't matter. I mean, there isn't really any particip participation trophies, or there isn't really a good try award or something.
And I get that, but my thing of looking at it is I'm looking at how the situation is now as compared to how it was. It's getting worse. So I mean, even though people did win, was it really a win? I mean,
Sure it was. They're in power.
yeah, but
They're in power, and they're getting stuff done that they've been wanting to get done.
they think they're getting done, but we don't know the backlash of
Of
what's
course
going to
they are,
happen.
Roselle. I mean, they had, like, they've overturned Roe v. Wade, which was bad, and that's because of justices that Trump appointed. Um, and they completely, migration over, they base it, I mean, illegal crossings at the border ended, like, entirely, almost. So they are getting stuff they wanted.
And
They
I
did
get
want, pardon?
and I get that. I totally get what you're saying, but like I said, just because you won in a certain way that you think what you're doing is completely right doesn't mean it's always completely done right.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
if you're looking at, I mean, if you're just talking about what any of our personal views, then yeah, that's
because to me, it's kind of like this. I mean, okay, I get it. You may have stopped all these people from coming across the border, but I'm also looking at how many people who innocently got deported, or
well, yeah.
the reason for all this stuff going on now, the riots and picketing and all this stuff going on. I mean, is it's to me it's felt like with the bombing of Iran, did he think about that before he did it? Will this cause other countries to think of us in a certain way now? Will this turn into a bigger war because of it?
But the
People
other
don't,
thing about, and
that's
but
not
the
really
other
winning to me. Even though he did what he wanted to do, it's not really winning, so to speak.
well, it's winning because he's getting to do stuff he wanted to do. I mean,
I guess.
and if you don't like it, then I mean, it's like any of us can certainly have the viewpoint not to like it,
Exactly.
but they did. I mean, if we don't think it's theoretically think it's a win, and I still didn't see. They're kind of thinking that it makes more sense that Biden did not enforce anything on the border, that he was totally demented, and that whomever was running the show just didn't care because they weren't,
So,
huh?
who was running the show if it wasn't him?
Well, his wife,
Now, is there proof of this?
of course not. I mean, this is
See, this is almost like the Obama thing to me. It's like
what
Obama not
Obama
being an
thing.
American.
No, it's not at all like that. I mean,
It
it's
kind of is. It's kind of like saying something that nobody has proof about, that we could just say that this is
but
what was happening.
there is a lot. Okay, there's evidence. There's lots of evidence about what was happening, because he was obviously in a decline. He was obviously not with it. And so there's certainly accounts from, so you look at who was around him, and you also look at the fact that he did not meet with with a lot of his cabinet secretaries, like for over a year before the Afghanistan withdrawal. He did not speak to members of Congress that were experts. He didn't speak to people on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. You look at things like that. And so you look at yeah, when you look at who his close advisors are, and you look at who was with him quite a bit, um that's all of that is evidence that you can make reasonable conclusions or reasonable opinions or assertions about that. There will be, um I don't know, like, if so, then it will, you call people to testify or whatever. And but yeah, I mean, it's completely different than just making up something insane like he wasn't born in the US. It's, come on.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really hearing much on that with Biden about that. Like, I've never heard about it until I heard it from you saying that. I've never really heard about the auto pen and what
Well,
you're saying his.
because the news hasn't been out for that long, and I'm a news hound. So of course you're hearing about it from me. I mean, it's certainly, if you Google Biden auto pen, and you'll see lots more about it. I mean, it's been published. There's a couple books came out, and so there's excerpts from the books, and there's accounts of from the books that are being written
So
about.
so we can technically say this is mainly based off of opinion, because there's no real proof that he was doing this though. There's like, if I wrote a
Well,
book, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like there's really, you're saying this and I get this, but everything you're saying is based off of a book that was written. If they didn't
which
like
is
Biden,
and the books are sourced, and so the books are sourced from um people, some on the record and some off the record. So yeah, I mean, if you want to look at a book with, that with by written by legitimate writers and published by a legitimate press, which is sourced and fact check. I mean, and like, yeah, there's people that are quoted anonymously. And so then you just need to use your head about stuff like that too. Like, why would that be? I mean, if somebody was a staffer in Obama's office and I mean, in Biden's office, and is talking um, to the reporter, why would they make that up? You need to look at things logically
and I
too.
do look at that, but has this staffer said this in person or is this just written in a book?
Well, they can't. It was written in the book.
But you
They
see what I'm,
had a conversation. The person was interviewed, and it was put in the book.
but we don't know who the person is, right? Yeah.
Some do, some do, some don't.
And see, that's the problem I have. It's easy for somebody to, I don't know. It's just to me, you can manipulate that if you want to.
It's not. It is not that easy to do, because if you look at people who have put their career and credibility on the line to write a book like this, and people who are not, and people that have proven themselves somewhat, or people that are reputable, people that really have something to lose by losing, are you gonna, like, sure, you can think that they completely made up the fact that they were meeting with this source, and it would be a lot more difficult to make up all of this stuff than it would be to report it, actually.
I don't know.
Okay, you haven't seen any of it. I
I,
mean,
I, I'm saying it's just, this is really my one. It's my first time, and I get it. You're into politics, and I understand
yeah,
that. But I just see people feeding into this if this was out like that, and I don't. It's
but
not
that's
out
not
like
how
that.
but that's not what it is. This is not just stuff out on the internet. It's you know, it's books that have been published, and in order to publish a book, especially a book like that, you have major legal screening before you can put out a book like that.
I guess. I'm sorry on this one. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I,
I just feel, I mean, to me, it's sort of, anyway. You should Google it, because look, I don't just come, I think you should trust me not to come up with
well, no, I
stupid
trust that what
shit
you're
that's on the
saying,
internet.
but
I
I just
mean,
kind of I'm kind of like in the sense of like if someone is told they're doing something, I just got to have proof of it. When people write, because there's a lot of envious people of people, and when something is written about someone or someone says something about one, but they try to keep it kind of secret.
okay, like
One,
who? Okay, do you believe, like, okay, do you believe P Diddy did the stuff they're saying he did?
yes, I do,
Yeah. Okay.
but there's more to it. Even though I believe he did it, I believe a lot of these people knew he was doing it and were okay with it.
Yeah, that's not what's on trial, though.
Yeah, yeah, that's not one on trial, but that's what I'm saying. I do believe he did it, but
Okay,
I
so what
kind
are
of believe
some
there's
other?
more to the story.
Okay, so what about like other cases and stuff? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like,
Give me a.
I mean, it's not. You need to look at what it is. Like, yeah, I mean, you can go. I mean, these
And then,
celebrities,
and
people.
also, like I said, I don't know P Diddy. I don't know Biden personally. I don't know Trump personally. So I don't know. I feel that if I met them and really got to know them, then I can know if I felt they really did something or didn't do it for that reason. And then I
I
just kind
think
of
we know.
feel,
I think Trump is one of those people who is exactly the same in public and in private. I think he has no filter. I think he did. Yeah. Other people, no. I mean, with P. Diddy, I mean, I'm sure you can clearly see that, like, you know, I mean, the person it's obvious that the person you see in public is his public face or whatever, but not Trump. I think he's exactly the same all the time, which is pretty much unheard of with politicians, but he's not.
well, I mean, I'm gonna put it to you like this. Like, let's just go with like the whole Epstein situation.
There's documentation about Epstein.
Yeah, there's there's like
There's
stuff
there's
saying
pi- there's
that Trump was there.
photos
Trump was
there,
doing this. There's
like with
people.
Epstein, there's photos, there's flight logs, there's records, there's like records of who stayed where,
Right.
there's phone records. Yeah, you can't just take people to court with nothing, you know. You
And
can't.
but you kind of see my point here.
No,
There's a lot of
because
evidence. There's evidence. There's picture. You kind of said that yourself.
well,
So,
yeah, well,
well, my,
but like, yeah, but of course it's going to be different when the stuff we're talking about with okay, like there's a story about um Amy Klobuchar. There's like a rumor that Senator Amy Klobuchar is mean to her staff, and so there's stories about her doing this and her doing that, and like with stuff like that. Well, I don't know because it's rumors. If you're gonna get to the point of like writing and publishing a book, which needs to be extensively gone over by lawyers before it's published because they don't want to be sued, that is evidence.
hmm, I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. So
And
I don't know. I don't know. So what you're saying is if they wrote a book about it, it's considered evidence. It's
the
considered
book is
evidence too.
evidence. Yeah, of course the
So
book
if
is evidence.
okay, let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Let's just say I had some against you. You didn't know I had some against you, right? Let's just say I wrote a book about you. Let's just say I did find lawyers that will publish it and then say
You
that's okay.
don't give me let's say,
Well,
okay?
I'm just giving you an idea.
But
If
you
I was
are
able to get
if you
someone to do it for me, even though you know and I know what I'm saying isn't true.
but you just said you don't just get lawyers to do what you want. That's not how it works. You can't if you're you know, if you try and get a lawyer to screen something and it's not accurate, then then it won't get published by, you know, by anybody
Yeah,
reputable.
but how do they
Don't
know?
make stuff up when I'm talking about real stuff.
Yeah, but how do they know it's accurate if there's no proof of it? Even if I tell you something, I mean, it's you're believing me. I get that, but you really have no proof.
Okay, now you sound like you're in college.
What? It's the truth.
You do. I mean,
I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from a situation. When I look at situations, I look at it for me. If something happened to me and somebody said something bad about me, and let's just say they said something bad, I wouldn't want people to believe it just because they said it. They could
well,
still lie. It still could be a lie.
people that know you would form their own conclusions based on their knowledge of you, which is evidence.
From what I've done with them.
Exactly. That's evidence.
And I do get that, but what I'm pretty much saying is just because someone wrote a book about something doesn't mean it's true. You may believe it, and
But
maybe
it
your opinion
does.
is
I
true.
mean, you can't.
How
Of
can you
course, it
say,
doesn't. You're making it sound like it's easy to just um put to just do this, and you can't. You have fact checkers, you have source checkers, you have lawyers and all this stuff. I mean, it is not all the same. It
So
is not all equal so far as reliability.
how much information have we seen around the internet and everywhere that is fake that still goes
See,
around
this is
and
what's
it's
fucked
still
up about the internet. You're you are equating that shit with books that
but
are.
I don't know these people who wrote the book. They could be still lying. You could still lie. You can
You
still
need
make up
okay.
stuff.
Anyway, you need to look without you having seen the books. This is kind of pointless because it's you're talking about abstract things, and I'm talking about real things. And sure, you could go say, like, the books I have, like a book like that will have like a third of it be footnotes. Sure, you could say that. Maybe you could say they made it all, but they made all that up, which which would be far more complicated than telling the truth, and which would not pass the lawyers. I mean, they know, the publishing companies know that if something is on, that they can get sued for something untrue. So they go through that stuff really carefully.
Well, I'm waiting to see when all this information comes out. It should be
It
coming out soon. I'm waiting for
Well,
it.
it has. Just Google it. I mean, some of it has. And I didn't want to um yeah, I'm trying to, I mean, I read one of the books which that came out recently. I think I'm one of the ones that's being used a lot is Lame, because it's by a journalist about how journalists help to cover up what terrible
So,
shit
okay,
Biden.
like right now, I pulled up your auto pen, right?
Yeah. Did you pull up Biden auto pen?
I pulled up Biden auto pen.
What did it say?
House Republicans to zero in on auto pen used as part of investigation into Biden's health. Republicans. Okay, I'm just looking at the people who are doing this, the ones that don't really didn't like Biden anyway. Trump
Well, yeah, they
orders
don't
a,
like him, and
and
so and
remember we just had a discussion about Trump, right? Trump orders a probe into Biden administration and him using a auto pen.
oh, okay, I was wrong about that part. Maybe he did. Well, I mean,
Fact checking. I'm just going to show you. This is on Google, like you said. Claims Biden pardons are void because he used an auto pen.
well, yeah. I
But
mean,
there's no proof. There's really no
that's why
proof. All these
that's
people who are saying it are like people that don't like him, like Republicans. It doesn't
well,
even
they
make
got
sense.
it from they got it from other sources too. I mean, you can't just make shit up like that. You just can't. I mean, not if you're in the middle of government. You can't.
Right.
Not
I
like
guess
it's
so.
not like stupid ass internet shit and podcasters and all that. I mean, one of the things that so it was already, but actually what I was saying is that it was already made public before Trump did that, before Trump said that, basically. And the information had already been made public because the books came out and the interviews came out. So, Trump didn't just come Trump didn't just come up with this. And of course, only Republicans are saying it the same way only Democrats were talking about the dossier, whatever.
And I agree with you on that. But that's my whole point.
So
Like
that's
you kind of took the dossier like it ain't, like the dossier, like you kind of said it like you didn't really believe it,
I'm still not sure.
but you're sure that he used an auto pen.
No, I'm not.
You just said he did. It had to be legal because it was written in a book. It
I
had to
did
be
not
true.
say it had to be legal.
You said it had to be true because a lawyer wouldn't go through all that
I
to
did not
find.
say it had to be true because of that. I said
So
that
okay,
like,
so let's say this: you admit it might not be true. It could be embellished. Is that what you're saying?
have I not been saying that you cannot, that you don't have, not that, if you that it would be a tremendous amount more work. I'm saying it's evidence.
So the dossier, you don't believe it? That's not evidence.
You know what? I don't even remember actually what the deal was about the dossier. It's
It's
just
kind
it's
of, you see what I'm saying? Like you're cool. You're like you heard about the dossier, you knew about it. It's on Google,
I'm
but the dossier is like you don't
no, I'm
remember
not
it.
saying, I am not saying anything about, I'm saying that it is the same thing, that like, of course it's going to be people that oppose the president who bring that stuff up. Like, no, of course Democrats aren't going to start going on about the
I
auto pen. So,
just like we know Republicans aren't going to go on about the dossier, so we
well,
don't know
yeah.
what is really true, do we?
Well, we do. I mean, when we have more evidence and more information, one of the things that might happen is they might try and figure out who the anonymous sources are. So, I mean, remember all the hearings that after the insurrection, I mean, when all those different staffers of Trump's were interviewed. And so I can't, like, they could start, like, they could start doing stuff like that with, about Biden's capacity, basically. They can start doing that as well. Which is, I mean, I think it's unfortunate. I would rather not see that happen because it's done, but it's over, but it just may not be. I mean, if they really try and pursue this about the auto pen not being legal, I mean, that's insane. Like, they could say that pardons weren't valid if they were signed with an auto pen.
If he actually used the auto pen.
Well, yeah, so they'll go back over records and see if a directive was given to use an auto pen. That's that's one of the things people would look for. I mean, as somebody that researches and reads biographies and history, when you have a couple hundred pages of footnotes, I mean, sure, you could say they could be lying, but I mean, to me, that's just kind of real meaningless relativity, I guess. And that's kind of the college part. There are ways to have better ideas about stuff. I mean, there are ways to try and determine things and ascertain things. And I mean, it's one of the reasons that AI and the internet are so, I mean, it's one of the reasons that a lot of people believe stupid shit, because they have not learned to use their own thinking skills and skills of examining evidence and looking at reasons that things may or may not be true. And you also need to have a frame of like, a lot of people, I mean, they don't have a basic field of knowledge to figure out certain things. Like, yeah, I mean, that is very hazard. I mean, that's why so many people now will believe stupid shit they see on the internet, because they don't have the cognitive skills to do any background. Like, part of it is if you have a certain level of knowledge about the world, um you can look at evidence um and decide if you think it's true or not based on what you know. I know if I have a certain level of knowledge about how government works and doesn't work, I have a lot more confidence saying what I think is probably true. I know what it takes to get information out. I know what it takes to get things published. So that's all stuff you use to decide on the validity of information. It's all like background knowledge that you have and judgment. Whereas if if people just hear like stupid shit like Obama wasn't born in the United States and they don't have any context whatsoever, that's the problem, basically. And it is a big problem. And like with AI, um, it, I mean, I don't even like there's images. It's hard with images, because we're pretty attuned. It's sort of automatic if you see a photo to think that it's real, but with AI, it's not. And so I find myself like there's a lot of stuff that if I just saw an AI photo, I wouldn't know if it was real or not because I don't have the surrounding knowledge. Like there can be an AI image of an animal, and somebody who knows a lot about the region or animals or whatever can know it's AI because they know that particular animal doesn't exist in that particular area or something like that. But that's the sort of and it's pretty like now, there's images of destruction, images of bombs and villages being destroyed. And so then you'll hear somebody say it's an AI image. But how do you know they know what they're talking about? So, I have a pretty good level of critical thinking skills, and with AI images like that, I'm just telling you things I don't know about, things I would not be able to figure out. So yeah, that's pretty bad, as so far as who's gonna be running the world. It kind of sucks that it could be people with no world, cognitive skills and just a basic level of knowledge. One of the things that we used to talk about more, she bring that back when we have different people on, is like cultural references. That's something that more people used to have in common. Like when there was just a couple TV networks, a lot of people, that's why a lot of people have the same TV references from the 70s, because in the 80s too, I guess, because there weren't many choices. And as more and more media and entertainment becomes available, we don't have that. And with other culture, and it's considered, I mean, it's a constant problem in education because books refer to other books, and education, you're supposed to be able to build on a field of knowledge. You're supposed to be able to have a solid basis. And I suppose that perhaps with math and things like that, that might, I don't even think that's there's even problems with that now. People are like, I can't figure out my kid's math homework. Like, what? How does math supposed to change? Um, but there's like vocabulary can be really different. And so that can really confuse people. So if you don't have a field of knowledge, and sort of, if you don't have enough self-awareness, and I think you should have enough knowledge to be confident in what you know and not be scared to say what you don't know. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that, like I'm talking about with um the AI. Like, I was talking with somebody about the film about the shooting on the Rust movie, and somebody that knows about guns would have understood parts of it more. And yeah, stuff like that.
What just happened?
Nothing.
Oh, looked like something happened.
uh no, I'm still trying. No, I have some weird background thing, but also my fucking tripod thing still doesn't seem quite right. I feel like it's not moving, but my background is moving. It's weird.
You like hearing the background noise?
It looks like my background is moving.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't you say you have a new computer?
No, is well, the iPad isn't new. I just
Yeah, I see it moving.
isn't that weird? It
It's
must be
almost like
some.
it's almost like you're being recorded by someone like you're in a movie.
Yeah, yeah,
It must be a setting, something in your setting.
yeah, yeah. Um, no, I'm just trying to use my iPad instead of buying a new computer, which I
Wow, that's
really
kind of
don't want to
trippy.
do. I got a Bluetooth keyboard. So my intention is to just use my iPad for the foreseeable future because I just don't want to buy a new computer right now. Or I mean, I don't buy them. New for me. I mean, I don't even want to buy. I mean, a lot of time you can buy one that's a couple years old a lot of times, but I just not the time. In a way, I'm definitely spending less time online, so that's good. But there's stuff I'm kind of behind on, but I'm just figuring out, um, just stupid shit that I'm used to having on my computer. Like, okay, how do I figure this out? But yeah. Well, congratulations in advance to Najee and Amani.
Yep. Congratulations, y'all.
Everybody pick up Shantae's book.
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is different. So, um, okay, okay, well, I have my all day protecting kids from social media event, which it's just frustrating. It's not, um, it's just when a project is at a certain level where everybody wants more information. I already feel like I'm going to get that from Jamila, and you can't wait for all your information, or you can't, yeah, you can't. I mean, that's why I'm figuring out the schedule right now, because you can't just sit around and wait for other people to decide what they're doing. So anyway, and then, well, hopefully you'll get that DJ thing going at Kristen's. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's gonna be next month. Yeah, that's gonna still happen.
cool,
Yep,
cool.
yep.
So, okay. Well, you have a good rest of your night.
You do the same.
See everybody in 2 weeks.
All right, Amia's radio.
Oh yeah, hopefully we'll do radio for the world soon.
That's gonna happen.
Cool. Okay.
I'm working with him. I worked with him on that a little bit last week. I gotta get
Oh,
more stuff
awesome.
to
I
it,
can't
but
wait.
that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be cool.
Oh, I'm excited.
So
Yeah.
so we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you later.